Can I help you?
Yes, another mineral water, please. Thanks.
You must not be from around here.
How could you tell?
The drink order. New York or L.A. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to offend you or to scare you off by asking such personal questions.
Oh, no. It takes a lot more than that to scare me, believe me.
I knew it, a New Yorker. So how you enjoying the fair city of Charleston so far?
Actually, I haven't had a chance to see much of it.
Wow. It's beautiful here. If you have time, I'd be honored to take you around, show you some of that famous Southern hospitality.
Now you're scaring me.
You're playing remarkably well tonight, Lucky.
One win, one question.
Careful you don't get ahead of yourself. The game's not over yet. If you should win, have you given any thought to the question you might ask?
When do I get to go back to Port Charles?
I promise I'll be a gentleman, and down here, that's secret.
Well, thank you for your charming offer, but actually, I was waiting for my husband.
Well, I hope you and your husband enjoy your stay in Charleston.
Thanks. Sorry about that.
What?
Calling you my husband.
Last time I looked, I still am. Anyway, it worked.
He was okay, though. He was a gentleman.
He had good taste.
Did you have any luck?
Oh, yeah. As a matter of fact, the Raoul that I sold the Haunted Star to is the same man who owns this place. He'll be joining us in a moment.
That's great. Does he still have the yacht?
Well, he didn't say he was kind of busy. He just said hang out and he would be right with us. Could I have a beer, please?
Thank you.
So we're in luck.
Fabulous.
Oh, Laura, look.
Oh, yes, I noticed that earlier.
Oh, it's a wonderful club.
No. Wasn't it more of a cellar, though?
Yeah, but it had the best jazz in Amsterdam. We used to dance all night.
I think that's just because there wasn't any place to sit down.
But you loved that place.
I think I loved it because you loved it.
Well, if this isn't a sight.
Oh my gosh, it is you.
Hello.
Hello.
How the hell are you?
Good.
Clearly still in love, as ever I see.
Ah, Commissioner Scorpio. Come in. Didn't know that you made house calls.
Where's Stefan?
Well, he isn't here at the moment, but I'm sure that he'll be back very soon. I wasn't aware that he was under house arrest.
He is under police orders not to leave town. So I hope he hasn't gone off to search for his mother.
Commissioner, you wanted to see me?
So good to see you.
Good to see
Sit
you.
down, man. Sit down.
Well, he hasn't changed a bit. You, my dear, you are just as beautiful as ever. So, what brings you to Charleston? And don't tell me you want your yacht back.
We might.
Actually, we've been thinking about the Haunted Star an awful lot lately.
Yeah, that's the reason we came down here.
I was always surprised that you let it go. As I recall, well, you were taken off, you weren't quite sure where. So, where did you end up?
South America, Amsterdam, Mozambique. You name it, we were there.
Oh, you two are really something. I still remember you telling me that you just weren't cut out to be mayor. How's all you wanted to do was just get out of here and see the world. And you, my dear, you shared the same heart. If he was going to have an adventure, well, you wanted to have one too. And there was no settling down to a traditional life for this one.
Well, you know, the Haunted Star was really special to us. It was a great time in our lives.
That's why it would mean so much to us to get it back. So, Raoul, have you still got it?
Unfortunately, no. I wish I could help you, but let me see now. I sold the Haunted Star about 10 years ago.
Checkmate. I'm afraid you'll have to wait for a while for the answer to your question about our return to Port Charles. I get to ask one instead.
Go ahead.
You seem to have such fond memories of your childhood. What puzzles me is, if Luke and Laura were the wonderful parents that you were made to believe, what prompted you to move out at such a tender age?
Teenagers want to be independent.
Surely there must have been something more to it than that.
There were things I didn't know. Things I didn't understand.
Such as?
One win, one question.
I know that you're a very honest young man, but I can only imagine what it must have been like to discover that your whole life was based on lies. You know, your instinct to leave was absolutely right. It probably saved your life.
So you sold the Haunted Star.
I'm sorry.
Is there any chance you held on to some paperwork? Maybe the registration number?
Oh, you know what? I might have the registration number and maybe even the bill of sale.
That would be very helpful.
And I also have a friend who works for the Coast Guard, and he might be able to supply even more information, such as the current owner, perhaps even where she's currently docked.
Well, that would be great.
It may not be so easy to buy the Haunted Star back. Although I never met the party who bought it personally, I seem to recall they were particularly set on having her, and they didn't much quibble over the price.
Well, it'd be enough just to be able to see her again. I mean, just to be able to go on board one more time, right?
Right.
You two are still the romantics, I see. Well, if I have the paperwork, it'll be upstairs, but locating my Coast Guard buddy might take a little longer. You still like jazz?
Oh, yeah, we'll be fine here.
Ziggy, please take care of my friends. Excuse me.
Yeah.
Luke, we have got to find that yacht. I think that may be our only chance of finding Lucky.
I'm assuming you're here because you found proof that Helena is in fact Lucky Spencer's kidnapper.
We found Helena's yacht docked temporarily in Manhattan. And, well, you see, the NYPD, they said a couple stopped by, asking all kind of questions. And then another man showed up, snooping around. And from their description, I could have sworn it was you, Stefan. But then you're under strict orders not to leave Port Charles.
What about Helena? Are you pursuing her?
Our witnesses don't put your mother with Lucky. If Lucky is alive, in fact, the person they saw forcing him into the van was you.
He was rescuing Lucky. We have been through this.
You know, Commissioner, I didn't even know Lucky Spencer was alive until a few weeks ago. I didn't inform you because I've lost all confidence in the PCPD.
Stefan.
And for good reason. Faison convinced your department Lucky was dead in the first place. Helena is the one who had ties to Faison. I never met him.
Are you fishing, or is there a point to this?
Oh, I'm just here to make sure that your client is present and accounted for. You see, he's done a lot of traveling lately, Greece, Cairo, Nova Scotia, Spring Lake. A lot of places very conducive to harboring a kidnap victim.
Wherever you think you can place Stefan, you can put Helena right ahead of him because he's doing exactly what he told you. He's following Helena.
You know what I think? I think your client has a much-deserved reputation for trying to frame his dear old mom.
Please don't let Helena get away with this. You continue down this path, and you are giving her defense team grounds for reasonable doubt. They're going to take your investigation and throw it back in your face. She's going to walk your playing right into her hands.
Come on, who had the most to gain from kidnapping Lucky?
My mother had the most to gain. She blames Luke for my brother's death. What better revenge than to rob him of his son? And again, it was Helena who had contact with Faison, not I.
Come on, Stefan, you've been in love with Luke Spencer's wife for what, 2 decades? Kidnapping Lucky. What a way to break ties between Luke and Laura.
Oh, and what about Leslie Liu? Was I going to kidnap her too?
I don't know, were you?
All right, that's it. We're done here. You have any more questions, you put them in writing, we'll get back to you.
Like I said, I'm just here to make sure that your client doesn't disobey police orders and leave town.
Thank you for handling Scorpio for me. You'll keep me informed, won't you?
What are you doing? Surely you're not thinking of leaving town again.
My trace on Helena's financial records led me to new information in Madagascar.
Did you not hear a word that Max Scorpio said? This family doesn't have any grace cards left with the police. Do you want him to put an APB out on you?
He won't.
Your leaving town is what made you a suspect in the first place. You do it again, and you're going to look even guiltier.
You know, as I recall, I had told you to stay home because I knew it was going to be dangerous. And you stowed away.
I'll never forget when you told me to jump, though.
Oh, yeah, well, we had to get off the boat. We were about to be caught. I had no idea it was a 2-mile swim to shore. And Robert didn't tell us there were sharks in those waters.
The boat was called the Titan back then, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I remember when the city gave it to us. Remember? We were at the Whitaker's farm. And then Robert showed up. Remember? And he got hit by the chicken.
The carnivorous chicken got him. And Tiff was there, and it was her that suggested we turn the boat into a club.
Yeah. You're first.
Yeah.
Hey, you'd always wanted to be a pirate. And you always wanted to own a club, and you got them both the same year.
Yeah, that was a good year for me. I also got the girl. It's funny, back then, I actually thought if I told you to stay home it was too dangerous, you might actually do it. I wouldn't bother to tell you to do those things now.
Yeah, wouldn't do any good.
Well, it didn't do any good then. We always work well together when we have a common goal.
Alexis, I will not let Helena frame me for her crime.
Stefan, I understand how much you want to bring Lucky home.
No, it is more than that. If Luke finds Lucky first, he could convince the boy to say anything, as long as it would incriminate me. Now, my future rides on finding Lucky first.
What can be keeping Raoul?
If he doesn't come up with anything, Luke, what do we do?
I don't know.
Well, have I got good news for you? Looky here. Found it.
Oh, great.
And it turns out that the owner I sold the Haunted Star to turned her over to a European corporation. And for the last several days, she's been anchored off Reunion Island. See?
Reunion Island?
Yeah, it's around, let me see, Madagascar, in the Indian Ocean.
Boss?
sauce, foam.
All right.
Take your call. Thank you. We owe you.
Of course.
Yes.
I'll hold you to that.
Thank you so much.
Thanks.
You're more than welcome, my dear.
So, we're off to the Indian Ocean.
Reunion Island? That's so Helena.
She's so sentimental.
Oh.
Checkmate.
Very good. Go ahead.
When specifically do I get to go back to Port Charles?
I am so glad you're so eager. I, too, am anticipating